Thank you so much for joining. And for those of you that don't know me, my name is Emma Goode. I'm the founder of digital marketing agency 24 Fingers. Such a pleasure to be with everybody. I have to apologise in advance. I'm not being rude by keeping my coat on. I'm in Leicestershire. I'm so cold. I'm being a soft southerner and I've had my jacket on all day long. So please forgive me, but I'm keeping it on for warmth until I get back to sunny Essex. So today's session isn't Ask Me Anything. I'm joined by the amazing Sally of Saltoria Marketing, who's offered to be my Debbie McGee for the day and
Yes.
help host the session. So thank you, Sally. It really is a great support to have you field all the questions.
Welcome.
Thank you so much, everybody, for sending your questions in early on time and in advance. That made all the difference that we were able to prepare in advance. So I'm just going to let a few more people in and make Sally co-host.
Thank you.
And yeah, we're good to go. We're good to go. So brilliant. Sally is now co-host. I'm just going to pin us. And brilliant to see some familiar faces. Thank you. Sally is pinned. Brilliant. Amazing. We are good to go. Okay. I wonder, I've got some pre-prepped submitted questions in, but if anybody is dying to ask one immediately, perhaps has to kind of finish early, shout out now, and if not, we'll go through our questions if that's okay. So over to you, Sally, for fielding the questions, if that works, and I'll in.
Yes, of course. I'll be letting in people when they come in.
Oh,
Wow. So yes, I know it's always a bit like a last minute rush sometimes, especially in the afternoon. But yeah, it's so exciting, Emma, and this is going to be really cool because you can just literally be on the spot and answer anything that anyone asks. So I think we need to adhere to the title and remember that anything goes. So anything arranging digital marketing or maybe other things as well. You never know.
maybe other things. And I was going to say, this is a safe space, and if anybody's to our sessions before, you'll know that it is a really informal thing. So no questions a stupid one, and if you're thinking it, somebody else is going to be thinking it like as well. So please don't be shy. We want to help as many people, and I've got a personal challenge to answer everybody's questions today that I want to. I'm just going to put on mute just to, yeah, that's it. I want to answer as many questions as possible. I tend to work across all platforms, so it's not kind of channel specific. So you can ask me anything about social, SEO, websites, general marketing, or as Sally said, life in general. So yeah, let's go for it.
Amazing. Yeah, and just as a little admin thing, if you are like on the move or busy, please just mute just because the sound ends up being quite loud. But yeah, just a little thing. I will try and mute you as well and don't think I'm being rude if that happens. But yeah, any questions welcome. So yeah, please do be open. And I also work in marketing, but I ask Emma silly questions all the time. And yeah, so just try and be as comfortable as you can because yeah, no question is silly. Okay, so one of the questions we got sent in, which I think is quite interesting, and actually I would like to know the answer. When you're managing a business or managing a brand or your channels in general, how do you deal with a complaint on social media that's actually in the comment section? So that's, in the public for people to see. We wouldn't recommend you just to delete it because we have to be honest and open. What would you recommend, Emma?
First of all, I'm just going to answer Magda's question. Magda said that she can't hear us. Can everyone else hear us
Oh,
okay?
okay. Oh, sorry about that. I should be doing the admin. Um, you're
Give me
still
a call.
connected to audio, so I'd recommend just waiting a second because it might just be that your device is
Okay. Yeah.
kind of getting used to things. Cool. Yeah, sometimes Zoom just takes a little while to like warm up.
So
Amazing.
the question was about complaint, how to deal with complaint. 99% of the time, we're not going to get complaints. And I know that a lot of people are scared about social media and think, oh my God, I'm going to get trolled or someone's going to be nasty to me. Actually, it happens a lot less than people think. That's number one. Like, don't let that put you off going on social in general, because actually it happens very, very rarely. When it does happen, though, it's horrid because this is your business and this is your baby, and some person's gone on social media and told everybody. It's like, oh no. Um, I would say as quickly as possible, take it offline, take it
Yeah.
into, take
Mm.
it into like direct message. or basically somewhere where it's not public, whether that's a phone call or whether that is a DM, that is going to serve you much better than like airing your dirty laundry in public. And 99% of the time, you won't have done anything wrong. It'll be somebody's got a bad day or somebody's having a bit of a keyboard warrior moment. But you want to basically take it offline. You want to take it to DM or pick up the phone. Same with reviews as well. I've worked with businesses in the past that get incredibly upset when there's been a less than positive review, and it is horrible because no one goes out to do a bad job, but things happen. I would urge you to remain factual, take the emotion out of it, and reply in a way that's simple, effective, kind of gets your point across without calling the other person a liar. But where you've got a case to be defended, you can do that, but do it politely and kind of shut it down. Do you know what I mean? Oh, sorry, Sally, I can't hear you. Sorry.
Sorry, I was just typing actually, and my typing is very loud, so I turned myself on. Yeah, I would say not that I'm answering the questions, but I would say a good rule of thumb is just to be like professional and kind. So, don't try and get into a little debate, but as long as you're clear and professional, and take it offline as quickly as you can.
You don't want a spat, like you don't want an online spat, because then other people jump in and it all gets a bit like, oh God, awkward.
Yeah, and just removing everything from kind of the public view is always sensible, I think, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Amazing. That's a great answer, Emma. Thank you. Hopefully people won't have to deal with that very often, though. Hopefully that's a rarity. We actually have one live question. So please feel free to like put stuff in the chat if you don't want to talk, or any way that you can kind of message us, just do that if you want to just do that whilst you're doing work or whatever. So we have one from Jill, which is really good. So she says that basically she has a lot more followers on her personal account, but they want to promote the business page more, but those page posts don't seem to get much traction. So I guess there's a kind of I don't know, a war between the personal and the company page. What advice would you give there, Emma?
I've been LinkedIn training today actually with one of my clients, and this topic actually came up. A personal profile will always grow quicker than a company page, and I know it's really frustrating because you put your picture of your cat on your personal profile and it goes viral, and then you do something really worthy on your company page and there's crickets. The only way to get around it, because it is the same for everybody, no matter what content you've got, is try and repost as much as possible from your company page back to your personal profile to get people in the habit of understanding that you are a person at a particular organisation or company. And if you've got a team or if you've got advocates that would share from your company post, that was going to really help amplify your numbers. So at the company that I'm with today, I've got 60 employees. So we've speaking about how we can repost and share externally to amplify the message. And on LinkedIn, if you do a post on a company page, there's a little alarm bell on the 3 little dots at the top of the post. You can click this alarm bell and notify all your employees at your business. And that's a really quick and easy way to tell the people that you work with to go onto LinkedIn and share your company post.
Is it best to do a company post and then share that from my personal account, or do the personal post and then no, you can't share that the other way around, can you?
Yeah, you can't share it the other way around. So what you could do, Jill, you could alternate. Lovely to see you as well, by the way. You could take a particular piece of content, put it out first on your personal, and then later on do a throwback on your company, or vice versa. So use the content but switch it up from a company narrative and then from a personal narrative. You'll have 2 different angles. That way the content will still remain fresh. People won't remember that they've seen it a month ago. You can repurpose and also get the fact that you've got the company page in existence out to your personal followers.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I would
sorry. One more thing. Sorry, on company pages, you'll have 250 invites over a certain period. I think it's
a month.
To invite your connections to like your company page, and that can be a quick and free way of getting the numbers up.
Yeah, I do that quite quite religiously. So,
Brilliant.
we're up to 2,300, which I suppose is quite
Amazing.
a page, but
Amazing. I think, yeah, I think you're doing a good job there, Jill. And for anybody that does want to follow Jill, Jill runs an amazing organisation called the Organisation of Responsible Businesses. So if anybody is running a business with purpose at its core and its heart and is following ESG goals, I'd really encourage you to check Jill's organisation out.
Amazing.
thank you for
That's
that
very
plug,
interesting.
Emma. That's very kind of you.
It was so true. It's so true. And she didn't pay me to say that.
No, I didn't. Emma, of course, is a member and has been a member for a long time, and she's absolutely lovely too. So, thank you.
Ah, lots of nice compliments there. I love it. And yeah, hashtag ad not applicable because that was a genuine, genuine recommendation. That's really cool. And I think, yeah, Jill, some of your like concerns are very common. And I think, it is sometimes hard to find the balance between personal brand and company brand. So I think just kind of keep trying and experimenting and see how you go as well. So that's really great. Thank you, Emma. That's cool. So some
Next.
other questions we've had next. So yeah, kind of carrying on from the kind of theme of LinkedIn, I think. But yeah, this is like a more of a general question. If you are completely new to like B2B digital marketing, which is business to business marketing, so where you're dealing with organizations like the entity, where should you spend your time to get the most value?
Yeah, great question. Few different ways to skin a cat, depending on how deep your pockets are. If you're a new business and you just want bums on seats, you just want orders through the door like yesterday, you really need an order, you really need money, you really need cash. I would be saying look at paid ads, whether that's paid Google or paid social, because that's going to be the quickest way of getting you eyeballs and amplification. You're probably looking at about a tenner, 20, 25 quid a day. So if you've got that kind of money and you're willing to test in month one, that will be your quickest route to get website traffic. It will be your quickest route to get prospects. It will give you a consistency in your pipeline that organic social media won't, for example. Think about like it'll probably cost you about, I don't know, 40, 50p to get something to your website from the social media ads. So if you're promoting on Facebook, for example, think about 40, 50p to get somebody to your website. Of course, when someone comes to your website, not everyone's going to become a customer. But the beauty about that is that you're collecting IP and you're collecting data every single time someone comes to your website. Things like LinkedIn, that might cost you a fiver to get someone to your website. Now, if you're a mortgage broker, we've got some equity release guys on the call. Hi, Chris. Your average order is going to be big. It's not going to be the price of a widget. So it might be worth spending a fiver. You need to do those checks and balances. If you haven't got the budget or you don't want to spend the budget, I would then say build a community, because a community is going to do your amplification for you. It's going to get you in front of people without you having to do that work yourself. So build a group on Facebook, interact in groups on Facebook, build an email list. That way you've got a GDPR compliant list of people that you can communicate to. Go networking. Like I live in Brentwood in Essex, as you can tell by my accent, and I moved there about 7 years ago and I knew nobody in business. And all I'd done was I literally went to the opening of an envelope. I went everywhere. And then I built a really great community and we started getting loads of clients. And it got to a point where somebody would say, oh, do you know that company? And they go, yeah, we know 24 Fingers, because I'd literally been everywhere. But that strategy worked really well for me and it was cheap. It was like tenner for a networking breakfast. So I would say balance your appetite to spend versus your time to develop, and you'll get a sweet spot of kind of how much time you've got to build a community on social or offline versus the quicker win spend to build traffic. Oh, sorry, lovely.
I'm still on mute. Apologies. I'm as if I've not been doing this for years. Apologies. I think that's a really cool detailed response. And yeah, thank you so much. I think paid campaigns can sometimes be quite intimidating, but again, it's kind of go for it, test and try, and see how you go.
Or ask the expert, because it's so easy to burn money on things like Google and that. And they're designed to keep upping your budget. And for anybody that has run a Google ad, there's this thing where you get automated emails and you get the reps ringing you. So, you're missing out on impressions and you're doing this and you're doing that. And it is just purely to up your budget. So spend mindfully and don't think you need to spend thousands. You don't. Like, you could run a Facebook ad and you could be getting leads on Facebook. And by leads, we mean name, email, phone number. You could be getting that within 48 hours for like a fiver, tenner. It doesn't have to be thousands.
Yeah, that's amazing. And also, depending on your type of business, you might not need loads of people. Like, you might not need 400 clients at a time. So it's always good to think about quality leads as well, I think. So
really good point.
Amazing, Emma. So yes, more questions. So this is quite a cool one. I quite like this one. It's a bit different. So someone said they're Avon rep, which I'm sure we all know what it is, cosmetic brands. And they said they want to promote their online store to get customers. And this again is quite a broad one. They basically want some tips on how to start and, kind of how to get going and what are the steps to begin their journey.
Avon and other network marketing schemes are quite tough to market, I'm not going to lie, because they rely on you knowing loads of people that are going to share your posts and buy your stuff and be advocates for your brand. You've got guidelines from head office that you have to follow. There's ways of talking, there's ways of using the imagery. You don't have free license. And if I'm really honest, when I see stuff like this on social media and I see it repeatedly, I tend to turn off because I'm like, you're my mate, you're not my rep. Do you know what I mean? And there's a balance between how often we can keep selling products to our friends without being that person. Do you know what I mean? So I would talk to head office and your kind of franchisee manager about what the boundaries are in terms of what you can and can't do. And where possible, build this community and build this tribe that's outside and independent of whatever the official guidelines say, because otherwise you're going to be tied in to only being able to do what the official documents say, and you won't build up what we call IP in your business, intellectual property. You won't have a tribe, you won't have a community, and gradually you'll see your friends and family might really encourage you at the beginning, but after the 100th post about your sun cream, they're going to get turned off. So where possible, add value, build a community that's outside of the official thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's really good. Yeah, I guess it's like knowing your boundaries, but then knowing where you can be creative and showcase like your kind of original side as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, and always just ask. Yeah, sorry, go for it, Emma.
And it might be like, if your target audience, I mean, Avon is, I guess, women of 18 plus, perhaps with kids, etc. You could build a Facebook group that's focused on your local areas, supporting women of that age group in that lifestyle bracket, that adds loads of content that happens to be run by an Avon rep.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, like really getting to know your customer and what they want and what they enjoy. Yeah, lots of like personality content. Yeah, that's great advice. That's really cool. Thank you. So yeah, if anyone wants to unmute and ask their question verbally as well, that's totally welcome. But we have had quite a few come through anyway. So yeah, another question which I think is quite a challenging one, but a really interesting question is, how can I get to the top range of companies? So like, it would be to marketing, we're talking about, I don't know, the likes of like McDonald's, Tesla, Nike. How can you reach some of those like, high end, maybe out of reach individuals in those companies?
When anyone knows, let me know. How would you do that? You I guess one or two ways. You could go down the traditional route of building your business, showing enough creds and legacy to be able to compete in that market, because a company of that size are going to want certain things. They're going to want certain SLAs. They're going to want certain risk controls put in. And as a small business owner, I know, being open, I know that we couldn't pitch effectively for a contract of that size. We don't have the manpower, we don't have the resource, we don't have the legacy, we haven't got cash, all of that. Or you go completely the other way and go completely viral, do something that's going to grab their attention, and then you go and work for them. You go and work in their marketing department.
Yeah, wow. That's really cool. Yeah, I think sometimes it's like we think we don't have enough budget to reach those kind of people because, we have a small budget or resources or whatever. But sometimes being creative and doing something PRable, bold and like creative can be quite cool.
Because you've got nothing to lose, do you know what I mean? Because a one-man band like me is not gonna. I'm not a one-man band. I'm a woman team, but like I'm not going to be pitching for those contracts with the best will in the world. I'm not. I personally want to because I want to work with solopreneurs. So I'm going to have to think differently.
Yeah, and look at what their competitors are doing as well, and looking at like how you can kind of have the edge. I think it's quite a good idea. That's great, Emma. Thank you. That's really cool. So this is a more of a kind of behavioral, kind of personal thing, but yeah, a really cool question. How can you negotiate with your marketing? So I guess using your marketing as a tool to negotiate.
I'm so tired. Tell me what you mean.
So the person might want to rephrase this, but the question we've had in is like how to negotiate with marketing. So I personally would interpret that as, how can we be more persuasive with our marketing, or how can we be more, I don't know, potentially it's a competitive market, so you want to stand out a bit more.
Cool. So essentially how to be compelling.
Yeah, that would be my interpretation, but if someone wants to correct me, please.
Yeah, cool. Yes. I would say introduce storytelling into your content marketing. So I'm at a paper merchant today. We could go onto LinkedIn and say, yeah, come buy paper 10% off this Friday. We're not going to do that because it's not the company's tone of voice. We don't need to do that, but we need to tell stories about what that paper does. We need to show and prove why we can deliver the paper on time. Every time we can show the breadth and scale of our supply, the fact that we only buy from sustainable forests, the fact that we can track what tree your magazine was printed from. It's those stories that will make somebody stop scrolling and go, actually, yeah, I want to know more, without having to compete on price. And storytelling, there's only one of you. Storytelling is where our USPs come in.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's really cool. Yeah, I sometimes say, like, me and Emma have quite similar jobs, but we are different. And you could argue that there's a lot of people doing marketing, but it's like how you do your service and how you speak with people, your relationships, and you can be unique in the kind of softer things or the more kind of human things.
Definitely. We had this the other day. Sally runs a book club that I go to. It's brilliant.
Oh,
if
yes.
anybody's looking to increase their reading quota this year, please check it out. But we were talking about swearing, and one of the book titles had swear words in it. And for me, I swear constantly in life. So of course I'm going to have to swear in my blogs because otherwise I wouldn't be being authentic. And I drop my H's and I talk in slang and all of that. I don't wear suits. And Sally was like, there is nowhere in the world that I'd ever swear in online communication. And that's what makes Sally Selling. That's what makes me me. And I think that's the beauty. I think that's the beauty about creating a tone of voice, whether we're a one-person company or a 100-person company. That's what sets us apart.
Yeah, I think that's a brilliant example, Emma. And actually, to reiterate what you're saying, I think it's about what you feel comfortable with. I saw something online recently about, everyone's talking about being authentic, and that's almost become like a buzzword. But I think a little disclaimer from that is like you still got to feel comfortable with it, and you don't have to be like completely vulnerable if that feels a bit like, ugh. Like just do what feels good to you and what feels natural, and hopefully then it will kind of all come to you, and you'll attract the right people. Yeah.
And that shows through, that authenticity shows through. Like I read something the other day and it was through a colleague of mine at another company. And I looked at it, I was like, mate, he didn't write that. It was so obviously written by either somebody in his marketing team or ChatGPT. So he would never have said them words. And it was so screamingly obvious to me. But when I read something that is that person's character coming through, that's compelling.
Yeah, exactly. And I think also like being okay with making mistakes, or like just being not like perfect, because that's interesting, that's real, isn't it? So yeah, that's
I make many mistakes. I've got a lot of posts like that.
I think that's great though, because that shows that you're always learning,
Yeah.
and you're not just like, I'm sorted, sit back. I think that's really cool.
Definitely not.
Yeah, exactly. But it's a good. We actually have a question that's like really linking into this, and I think it may have actually been inadvertently answered. So they're saying that what makes my company ahead of other companies in terms of marketing. So I guess like, yeah, what makes you unique or different and kind of, yeah, compelling, I guess.
Not numbers. You could have the most amazing social media with 1,000 really, really, really engaged followers. It's definitely not numbers. It's about your prospect client who's reading that content, going, do you know what? They really get me. They really understand me. They know what problems I'm facing. And actually, I think they might be able to help. And the more they see your post, the more they bring, the more know, like, and trust is developed, they will get to the point where they will purchase from you.
Yeah, I think so. That's really cool. Thank you so much. I think, yeah, it's all just about refining your character as a company. So, and we talk about this a lot, like thinking of your company as a personality or as an individual, and what would that person or company say, and just making sure that like fits in with your values and like what you're doing. So,
And also in terms of visual as well. So in my business, there's absolutely zero way that I would use an exclamation mark. That in my text, there's no way I would ever use it, but we would use an emoji, and that would follow through on our visuals as well. Other companies be really, really happy to use an exclamation mark. The reason why I wouldn't is because I prefer to have like this sarcastic, ironic, bit tongue-in-cheek tone of voice, and emojis really suit that much better than exclamation marks, which I think personally are a bit basic, but other people really love them. That's personal, that's subjective, that's me.
yeah, I love that. And I think, yeah, you can totally see your tone of voice is really clear and really, yeah, dry humor and very, yeah, down to earth. And I think that, yeah, that completely summarizes who you are, which is brilliant. I could talk about tone of voice all day, but yeah, if we have time at the end, maybe we could just chat about tone of voice. But yeah, we've got some more questions which are really cool. So thank you so much. Someone said this is a little bit of a switch of tone because we talked a lot about Instagram, about LinkedIn so far. So someone's asking about Instagram. So again, a general question, but I think it's a really good one. So how can I become more engaging on Instagram from a business point of view?
Yeah, Insta's hard. Like, it's not my go-to platform. Twitter's X is my go-to platform, and then LinkedIn. Insta. So the move algorithmically, if you like, is obviously reels and video content first. If you've seen the reels where you get overlay of text on images that will certainly work. Um, Nowadays, rather than saying things like link in bio, it will be comment to get my whatever it might be. So Instagram will reward you for engagement and traction. So if you can get people commenting to get your free whatever it might be, do that, because then LinkedIn get a signal to say, oh, actually people are engaging with this post, we're going to show more people, and it becomes this ripple effect, but not an easy platform to grow on. And I would encourage you to consider TikTok for faster growth, and then working really hard on Instagram to build this kind of VIP community, engaged followers.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice. Like, yeah, I think Instagram's definitely more like brand awareness, community building, rather than like purely generation. And I think, yeah, it's really important to like know what channels do, like what kind of purpose each channel has for your company, and you don't, have to be everywhere. Like, it's okay to not be on all channels. So yeah, that's really cool. Someone actually has, I'm going to talk about this because you said X was your favorite, or Twitter. I know it's really hard to say X, it's really like
Yeah.
jarring, isn't it? But yeah, someone's actually asked about X/Twitter. So yeah, we have got some time if you want to answer in full. What are your thoughts on the future of X and Twitter
Oh,
from a marketing point of view? Yes.
I think obviously it was so good, and now it's not. It's an angry place.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't hang out on it as much as I would like to. I don't have the time, but when done well, I think Twitter is still brilliant. And interestingly, if you're trying to attract the teenagers and the younger adults that are into news, sport, and fashion, actually Twitter's really good for doing that. So don't discount it, but I would say use it mindfully, scroll mindfully, ignore the orange angry people on there, ignore the hate. I'm not quite sure where Elon's going in terms of the premium features. Every time I log on, there seems to be a new gizmo that I need to pay for. and the user base is flat now. Like people aren't joining, whereas all the others are growing. It's a real shame because it was a thing of beauty.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Like I work quite a lot with like educational companies, and so there was a real like hub of community for teachers and people in education, and it was like really wholesome and like people really trying to like support each other from across the world, and like some really genuine and like, heartfelt stuff. And I think yeah, lots of people just don't feel like it's like a comfortable place to be, which is sad. But maybe tides will change. Maybe things will start kind of slowly changing in the future. Who knows? Yeah. Just as a little side note, I just would like to ask this actually, whilst we're talking about Twitter, have you got any advice about Twitter ads specifically, or X ads, or is that a bit of
Um,
minefield?
I've not run them. I'll be honest. I've not
Okay,
run
yeah,
them, so I can't answer that with authority, if I'm honest. Um,
that's all
but if
good.
anybody wants to email me, my email is emma@24fingers.co.uk with a specific inquiry about Twitter ads. I'm more than happy to help.
That's cool. That was actually just my question, so maybe
Oh, cool.
I just thought it would be quite cool to ask you that. But
Yeah,
yeah,
no, I've not done them. Not done them.
I've actually never been asked by any client about them actually. So yeah, it might not be. I think you have to have extremely high budget to do Twitter ads.
I think
Um,
also for things like tech and startup and that kind of thing, that a lot of people use Twitter ads. Um, Same as Reddit ads.
Oh, Reddit ads, that's a minefield. Yeah. Yeah, lots of techie stuff, like tech brands would be using that, definitely. Cool. Okay, well, thank you, Emma. That's really cool. So someone else has said, so I'm just going to read this word for word. Sarah has put in the chat, we are going to start a YouTube account to share information in more detail. I see a lot of Instagram accounts that do snippets of their longer YouTube account on Instagram. Is that something you'd recommend?
Yes, and funny enough, on the 13th of June, I'm actually doing a video workshop with my good friend Jeremy Mason, who's the guy that films the Britain's Got Talent and X Factor. So he's basically the bloke that makes Ant and Dec look good on camera. So we're doing a workshop on how to create engaging videos. And Jeremy and I, we're doing a lunchtime kind of lunch and learn on LinkedIn every day. And we just spoke about this. Do your snippet first at the beginning of the customer journey. They're not ready to watch a really massive, long YouTube videos. Do a little snippet and encourage them to go to YouTube for the longer version. Yeah, if you look on my LinkedIn or mine or Jeremy's LinkedIn this week, there'll be loads of small tips on video leading up to the workshop that we're doing together.
That's really cool. Thank you, Emma. Have you got like any general tips about, I don't know, video on social media generally? So I think video is can feel quite intimidating, but I think it's good to know that you can create things off the cuff as well when you need to.
Yeah, I would say go really niche. Think about like one micro topic. I think something that us business owners do really well is go for a massively big topic like social media videos, whereas what we should be doing is what's the correct length for a social media video? We presume people know everything we know, and they don't. So take it back to basics. Think about the FAQs that you typically get asked in discovery calls and prospect calls, and make a 1 minute video on a really small point. So I'm looking at Andy, my friend in Colombia here. Andy makes bespoke custom built radiators. So Andy's 1 minute could be what's the best way to measure a hard to reach radiator, for example, and that could just be a video. And then the longer version of that would be what styles do bespoke radiator covers come into, and how do I give you a brief, for example.
That's really cool. Yeah, I think sometimes we feel like we need to be broader or like, kind of more general because you want to capture more people. But actually, the more narrow you get, becomes more compelling as well.
Yeah, definitely. And then you can get a series of them niche ones that all build up to a really strong foundation.
Yeah, and also you don't have to be like, really long. It can be quite quick. And actually quick videos make for more compelling content as well. Cool. So someone else has added to that, I think, kind of part of this conversation. A hashtag still worthwhile. So across all social platforms, I guess. If yes, how do you make the most of them?
So talk through different platforms. So in today's LinkedIn training, we were looking at hashtags in order to find prospect customers. So on LinkedIn, in the search bar at the top, you could put in hashtag and then your specific sector or industry, and you would see all the people that are mentioning your topic of interest. And then you could see the style of the posts, you could see what your competitors are doing, and you could start doing a bit of a competitive analysis of posts around that topic. But also by using a hashtag, you can see the people in your field that are mentioning. So then you could see whether any of them could be potential ideal clients. On things like TikTok and Instagram and Pinterest, hashtags are going to be used more for SEO. So rather than, so I'll rephrase that, rather than using hashtags, you're better to put SEO keywords in your caption. You're going to be discovered better on that rather than hashtags. There was, years ago, there was this thing about, doing hashtags in white and putting them on your picture and hiding your hashtag and all that. And to be honest, exactly the same like on Google, where we don't keyword stuff anymore. We've gone past that, and now it's about natural content. So I wouldn't fixate on hashtags. I would fixate on what people are searching for and get those SEO keywords into your content and into your captions.
That's really cool. Yeah, I think again, it's one of those things that you think it can be quite intimidating, but yeah, just trying and seeing how you go. I also think, Emma, you should maybe do a little niche video on hashtags. That could be your next video.
I will do. And also on like LinkedIn or Facebook, we've all seen them posts that are so obviously shared from Instagram with like 1,400 million hashtags on it, and they look like aesthetically less than lovely. So I personally would be using less than 5 on LinkedIn and using the relevant ones.
Aesthetically less than lovely is a really good phrase. I like that. Yes. Yeah, I think it's really important to like remember the channel that you're on, and remember like a lot of time people are looking on their mobile. So like the visual side of things need to still be quite, succinct and appealing. Yeah, actually long to hashtags and good for the eye, is it? So yeah, that's a really cool question. Thank you so much. It's another LinkedIn question. Yeah, we all love LinkedIn. So does follower count on LinkedIn matter that much in terms of reach?
What is now on LinkedIn is the engagement pod, whereby you get X amount of people all together joining in to comment, like, and share on your posts. And it's happening because the same people will be commenting and sharing. And I was encouraged to join one. I joined one. And what was so interesting about it is that when we were in the club, I'm not in the club anymore, people were liking, sharing, and commenting my post. The minute I stepped away from the club, those same people aren't liking, commenting, and sharing my posts anymore. So they weren't my true fans. They weren't my ideal clients, because the engagement stopped immediately when the pressure of sharing each other's content stopped as well. And that tells me a lot. I think personally for me, it might be the slower route, but growing on organically, when you've got a real fan, you've got somebody that really wants to engage in your content, that's worth so much more than kind of tricking the algorithm.
Yeah. I think LinkedIn is very, I don't know how to phrase this, but it's quite sensitive to like the community aspects, like have to be very genuine. Like I think it knows when people are just like liking all their mates stuff, or having an engagement pod. And I don't think that means you shouldn't like your mates stuff, because I think that's lovely and that's cheerleading, but that shouldn't be your strategy. Like you need to be more thoughtful, and actually it's more about getting the genuine customers engaged and interacting.
One of the things I've realized is in my network list, I have a lot of people that are trying to sell me. So when I'm sharing content that I think is engaging, the people that are on my list, they might be my connections, but they're never going to buy from me, because actually they want to flock to me. So be mindful about who's in your connection list and build up potential partners, potential clients. Don't just accept everything just because the vanity number looks good.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think kind of what I referred to earlier, sometimes it's all about quality rather than quantity.
Which is hard for someone like me who wants to do world domination and have all these connections and everything. But I'm training myself to be more mindful about who I accept and who I don't accept.
Yes. And it is hard, and I don't think there's a perfect formula, but I think the general rule of thumb is, questioning will this actually help my business in a genuine way? And is this useful to my audience? And then just, keeping it quite simple, I think is good. So yeah, that's a really cool question. Thank you. We actually have, I really like this question. We have a question that came through on email about email marketing. So we've talked a lot about social media, which is brilliant. And of course, that's a big part of our lives as consumers and as marketers. But email marketing, I believe, definitely has still got a good place in the world, and it's still very compelling. So the question is, what's your advice around email marketing as a service-based business?
Okay, so I 100% agree. Ignore email at your peril, because if somebody's trusted you enough to exchange their data, which nowadays is a big thing, that's not a given anymore, then you need to reward them with great content. So that could be a weekly newsletter, it could be a free gift upon signing up, it could be a checklist, it could be a how-to guide. In the pandemic, we went hell for leather in terms of supporting people. So we're a global team, and we always worked always worked online since my son was like 21. So I'd done it before it was fashionable. So for us, there weren't no difference the day that the pandemic happened. But for other companies, it was a huge mindset shift. So we were like, right, what can we do to support? So every week we'd have lunch and learn sessions. But every week we would send out a free asset. So that could be how to get more followers on social media, a hashtag cheat list. We do every month, we do a trends calendar. If anybody is trying to plan their content out for June, pop me a message in chat and I'll send you 300 ideas for June. So we did that week in, week out, and we tripled our email list because of that strategy. So we're all about adding value first, and the clients came once they saw that they could know, like, and trust us. So 100% agree on email. I think if you can automate it, brilliant. If you could automate a welcome series, that would be my first top tip. So when somebody first signs up to whatever it is that you're giving away, do the welcome, do the here's your gift. A week later, how did you get on? Do you want to book in a discovery call? There's lots of kind of standard automations in terms of a welcome series that you could give. But think of it like you're picking up the phone and having a chat. Like, it hasn't got to be complex. It can be really simple. It could just be a hello, really pleased to have you here. Here's your 10% off your first product order.
That's great. That's cool. Thank you so much. It's great tips. Yeah, I think email marketing has a big place. And actually, one time someone said to me that actually they use their inbox as like a search engine. So I don't know, you're looking for a deal to get some pizza or something, you would search in your inbox to see if you've had any emails about it. So I think it is kind of archive content that people refer back to. Whereas, yeah, do you want to add anything to that, Emma?
I do. You've just reminded me. So somebody lovely on this call actually today. We started working together back in April, and the person that referred this lady to me was somebody that has been on my email list for, I don't know, maybe 7 years, 6 or 7 years. We've never had a business relationship. She opens my email consistently, and every time she does, I'm like, yay, she still loves me. But she referred me to the person on this Zoom, and we're now working together. So even though they might not be replying, even though they might just be lurking on email, don't give up on them.
Yeah, I think that's a really, really solid point. And yeah, people might come back to you in 6 months. So it's not necessarily as quick win as certain social media things are, but it's that kind of long-term relationship building and really kind of reiterating your expertise and your reputation as well. So
and giving value first before asking for money straight away. Because you wouldn't go in the pub and go, hi, yeah, Emma, yeah, gives you social media. You just wouldn't do that. They'd have to get to know you for at least 2 drinks before you did that.
At least 2 drinks, yeah. Make sure it's a vodka and coke as well. Yes, definitely. Yeah, I think that's actually a really good point. Kind of remembering how human interactions work. I think sometimes we overcomplicate digital stuff because I don't know, we think we have to be smart or techie or witty. But actually, what would you do in a face-to-face conversation? You would warm them up. You'd
be smart and witty.
You would be smart and witty, but you wouldn't directly be like, I'm really smart. You know, you wouldn't be so like obvious with it. I
Overt
think,
about it. Yeah.
yeah, I think, but yeah, you'd also be smart and witty. But I guess the point I'm making is that like you have to like warm people up and like do an introduction to what you're saying.
And see
Um,
what they need,
yeah,
where they
yeah,
are. Do you know what I mean? Meet them where
yeah,
they are, not where you want them to be.
exactly. Yeah, what are their problems? What are their struggles? How can you actually enhance their life in a genuine way, or you know, make their life easier? And really, yeah, really understanding their struggles and what they need. Yeah. That's really good. I think that's another video, email marketing by Emma Goode. Getting
Yeah.
lots of ideas here. So yeah, we've had another question that's come through. It's all about marketing on a budget. And I can really, really sympathize with this. I've worked with lots of people that have a small budget, but still have the enthusiasm. And it is hard, but you want to do stuff. So have you got any tips on, you know, stuff you can do for free or even just on a small budget?
Yeah. Nowadays with AI and with automation and with things like Canva, I'm sorry to any graphic designers on the call, I apologize in advance, but there's so much that we can do. There's so many templates, there's so many hacks. I would say if you're strapped for cash like we all are, you know, none of us have got thousands to be doing all this stuff. Um, Go for really great content that looks good, that's going to make an impact, and to just do more of that. Wait for a signal. So create an asset. So it could be checklist, a how-to guide. Ask someone on social, or ask your network on social media whether they would like to see this thing. And if you get the signal back that, yeah, actually, yeah, I'd like to see that, go and create it. And then rinse and repeat. So you'll get really great buy-in before you've even done it. Then you can use the free tools to go and create. It's not going to cost you anything. Anything it's going to cost is your time. And then when you see things working, when you see engagement, when you see your traction going up, when you see your followers going up, then you could think about applying a little bit of money for a boost, for example, or a Facebook campaign. And again, you could start that for a couple of quid a day. Like, it doesn't have to be a huge amount of money, especially at the beginning of the business where none of us have got money to go and employ somebody or, you know, spend on bits of fancy software. We just want to create stuff quickly, simply, easily on the free versions of all these tools. But there's so much you can do. There should be no barrier nowadays, not with AI.
Yeah, I think that's brilliant, brilliant advice. And actually, sometimes money feels like a barrier, I think. But we need to remember that, yeah, there's a lot of things available for free. And actually, organically, you can do a lot of creative stuff on social media. Yeah.
My business will be 10 years old next month, which I can't believe. It's been many
Yeah, no, amazing.
yeah,
Congrats.
and weirdly, it's 24th of June, 24th. So that,
Ooh.
yeah, spooky. But I literally started with mobile phone. I never even had a website. I was a digital marketing agency without a website. I don't think I had a website for the first 2 years of the business, which was ironic and laughable. And nobody even asked me. Nobody even said, like, where's your website? They just trusted me that I could do the job. So take it from me, you can start, and I can't think of the fancy marketing jargon term for it, but you can start and
Yeah.
bootstrap, is that the word? Bootstrap?
Yeah, people call it bootstrap marketing, but yeah, I think you can do things without a big budget, and actually being creative and confident is really, really a good way forward. And yeah, especially if you're an individual marketing person or individual, you know, self-employed person, I think what you do personally is really important. So
And at the beginning, you can always trade stuff, like if you need a graphic designer, photographer, they might need the skill that you offer as well. So have a think about that.
yeah, skill swaps are really good. I love a skill swap. That's
But
great.
with boundaries though, because I've been burnt a few times by skill swaps, you have to have very clear boundaries in terms of what the deliverables are.
Yeah, and even doing like a really quick service agreement, even though there's no money exchange, is probably good. Like what are the hours and what's the deliverable. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
That's really
I'm just too nice.
yeah. And when you enjoy it, it's hard, but like you've still got to have boundaries, right? So someone has actually asked a question specifically about Facebook groups. So how would you go about building a Facebook group? They've been trying to find it very hard, and they find it hard to find the right people and then get them to join, I guess. So any
Yeah,
advice on that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
thank you. Great questions. So I'm thinking funnel. So what I personally would do is have a Facebook page at the top of the funnel. for your people that are perhaps don't know you yet or don't know, like, and trust you yet. Advertise on that Facebook page, but keep your exclusive content for the group. So on the page, you can say, oh, you know, Friday, I'm going live with a whatever in the group, come over and join. And that's a way of providing and creating this VIP community that are going to get extra special discounts, exclusive, all of that. And that's how you build up a group, by offering loads of brilliant content. But you use your page to seed the group and get your numbers through potentially paid acquisition.
So building your page up helps build like a core customer base, and then you make it more exclusive for the group, and that's like the incentive, I guess, isn't it? Yeah,
Exactly.
that's really cool. Have you got any good examples of, you know, you obviously have names, but any examples that you're involved in?
I don't know whether she's on the call. My friend Lynn in America, she has just finished her first retreat to Tuscany, and
Lovely.
yeah,
Lovely. Sounds great.
yeah, really lovely. Yeah. No, it sounds hell. From a starting point of zero, like, you know, very, very small, she planned out her group content. She made sure the group content always added loads of value. So it's very in tune with what that particular demographic needed. So it's around fears of traveling solo, what you need when you're going to another country. It's very kind of helpful advice, but she used the page to funnel people to the group on my advice. And she just finished her retreat, and she just set up, I think, another group. And she's already got loads of inquiries for the next retreat. So it doesn't have to take years, but I think it does need a planned strategy.
Yeah, that makes sense. Someone's also just sent a direct message about, have you got any tips on like Facebook Live or Instagram Live? And I don't know, personally, I think that could be like an extension to your group, or, you know, you can do it within the group or outside the group. What are your thoughts generally about that?
You could go live on your personal profile and say, look, on Friday, I'm running the group.
Yeah,
and again, think about it from a funnel point of view, because if your main objective is to get numbers in your group, your widest audience is going to be on your personal profile.
Yes, yeah, that's cool. And then for Instagram, do you think there's any specific tips? Because I know like live can get, the comments can get quite wild in terms of like it can get busy. Have you got any tips on kind of navigating that?
What, in terms of thinking on your feet?
Well, yeah, this is what you're good at doing, you know.
Yeah, you got to think on your feet. Yeah.
Maybe it's about preparing a little bit, but not too much, I guess. Yeah.
I don't know. You're talking to somebody that just goes on and does it, so you're talking to the wrong person here. But I think for an Instagram live, if you collaborated with somebody else, takes the pressure off slightly, and again, that can get you to a big audience by amplifying on their audience as well.
Yeah, making it more of a conversation rather than like a speech. Yes.
Yeah,
definitely. I follow a woman called Kirsty Hulse on LinkedIn, and she has basically a exhibition or a conference called Confidence Live, and she put a post up the other day about, you know, when you're put on a spot or you feel like you're winging it, like we aren't actually doing that. We're not winging it or making it up, because we're harking back from our years of experience and expertise, and we've already got like a mental toolkit that we probably don't think of, but we are using constantly. And I think maybe it's just trusting that you have many conversations, many meetings, many professional chats all the time. Just because it's a surprise, it doesn't mean you're not going to be good at it. So
yeah. Someone said to me, the teacher's only one bit of information ahead of the student, or something like that. The phrase, like, at any one point, the teacher's only one bit of whatever ahead of the student. And no one knows what you were going to say anyway, do they?
They don't. And also, yeah, like you've done today, like you've said certain areas in your expertise, then can you like email me and I'll find out more information for you or refer you to someone. So it is okay to not know the answer, like we're all human.
Yeah, exactly.
So but that's a really cool question. So yeah, I think we've got about 5 minutes left, a few minutes left. So Emma can get quite quick with her answers now. But yeah, we have got quite a good question, which might be our final question because it's quite a meaty one, but a nice one to finish off. Do you have tips on launching a business in terms of a marketing approach or a product or service?
Signal, make sure you've got a signal of interest before you do anything else. So learning by experience. What I did was, yeah, I've got a brilliant idea. I'm just going to go and do it. What I should have done is actually, is there a need? Is there a demand? Do people want this? What will people pay for this? Rather than me just thinking, yeah, I'm on a whim. It's satisfying a personal thing for me. So for me, before you do anything, do wait lists, do minimum viable products, do little tests, do betas before you spend time, effort, heartache, stress, whatever it might be, and then build up. That way, you won't put so much pressure on yourself.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice. And you can do a soft launch as well, can't you? You don't
Yeah,
have to be like
exactly.
everything all singing and dancing. You can do like a
Yeah.
small soft launch, see how it goes. Yeah.
100%. We're doing that at the minute. So we've been really successful over the last year. Actually, you know about this, about getting digital PR for people. And I've not even launched that. Like, there's very few people
Mm.
that our digital PR service, and that needs to be unveiled to the world. So you could actually call that a soft launch. I've gathered case studies, I've gathered experience, I've gathered knowledge, and then I feel much more confident and able to unleash that to the world. So if anybody does need a digital PR service, do send me
Oh
an
yeah,
email.
it's brilliant. And actually, I think that's another thing I've learned recently is like remember your audience, but try and think of it as one person. So obviously you want more than one person, but if you're a bit overwhelmed of like, oh my God, how do I captivate 500 people? Actually think, how can I captivate that one person who is my target audience? And then, that becomes the more compelling and more kind of less intimidating. Yes. So I think, yeah, we're probably ready to wrap
Super.
up. We haven't got any more questions. I know a few of you have to dash off. So yeah, please feel free
Thank you
to
so much.
leave.
Honestly,
Yeah.
this is the first one of its kind, and I'm so grateful that everyone's taken an hour out of their day or morning to come along. I'll ask you guys actually. I will ask for a signal whether we should do these again. I've loved it, but I want to hear. I've got a thumbs up from Andy. Brilliant. I'm doing it. I will follow up. I will share for everybody that turned up live today. I have a bonus which will come to you via email. But like I say, just thank you so much. And I'm really on a personal mission to demystify digital marketing. So if there's any questions that you think of after this session, I would love to hear from you. You've all got my email, so do get in touch.
Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Emma, for making it so fun and
Thank
enjoyable.
you. Thank you. You've been such an amazing Debbie McGee. Thank you.
Thank you. And yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for all your comments and stuff. I hope we have a great afternoon or morning wherever you are in the world. Thank you. See you later.